many of us at Pure Desire, we've gone through the healing process and we've actually watched our healing spill over into other areas, like in our relationships and the way we parent and in these different areas. So for you, in your situation, how did you see that happen in your healing journey?
Our oldest is like really strong-willed, and I don't have the best relationship with my mom. And so it's always kind of been a fear, like, oh my goodness, my daughters aren't going to love me. Like we're not going to be friends when we're older because, I don't know, I'm going to mess up. And she's really strong-willed, and so we get into heated arguments, because she has to have the last word to be right. And I feel like she's 18 now, and this has been since she's 2, guys. 2 to 18. So hold on. But I feel like the tools that Pure Desire gave me that I didn't have before is like I always just shoved my feelings down. Like I just like, oh, I'll just have my feelings, and the next day everything will be fine, because that's what I grew up seeing. Like,
yeah,
like they'll say mean things or whatever, and then you just move on the next day, and nothing happened. And so I didn't want that to be our story. And Pure Desire gave me like, okay, I want to, you can go in after, and I talked to her, apologize, like, hey, and I even use words like, when you said this, it tapped into my trauma of origin timeline when, I'm not feeling heard or listened to or lied to, and then, we're able to talk through it with a better language, I guess. And she knows our story. And she even like, just last night, she was being her awesome teenage self. And then she came in later and she's like, oh, I'm sorry I said that, Mom. I know you're going through a lot too. So like,
oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to be friends.
You will be friends.
I definitely have seen it with the kids, like just talking with them, some of the things that I've learned. We've also used the faster scale with the kids to like, hey, where are you guys at? Not a ton, but like they've come to us with questions about something. I can't remember exactly what, and we're like, you know what, there's a good tool that we use in Pure Desire, and it's called this faster scale. It's you can stay in restoration with God and know where you are. With my parents, I feel like I didn't really know how to talk to them about hard issues, and my relationship with my mom is a little rocky, and I just was able to like set boundaries with them. Like, these are healthy boundaries, and this isn't wrong to have these with you. And whether they want to like participate in them, that's up to them. But I, was able to sit with my mom a few years ago and like just stay there. And when she, she just wanted to like give up because we weren't coming up with an answer, I just kept like, well, I'll just stay here till we can figure something out. Like, I just felt like I was more calm in the situation because of going through Pure Desire and had like a voice. And I wanted to be heard, even though maybe she didn't hear me. I'm not sure how that went. But they've kind of struggled with this whole disclosure story. And I think it's been really hard on them, like, to handle.
Well, and I think you bring up a good point, because we can only have control over ourselves and our own story. And so you're saying, this is how I've used these tools to learn, from my own childhood, and now I'm able to apply some of these things to how I'm parenting my child, and I want it to be different, and apologizing is different, and being verbal about areas you've made mistakes, which is something you didn't get experience, and you see that working, with Alyssa, and I see that working similarly with my twins. But then you have this other family over here where if they're stuck or not receptive, that's also not your fault, you know? So now you put in tools of, how do I keep myself safe, or, sane, or, whether that's somebody that's not safe and you have to cut ties off, and you're at least learn the tools to do that. Or your situation with your parents sounds so similar to mine with one of my family members, where it's like, I will continue to maintain relationship, but I know because of how badly they can hurt me with their words and actions that it will kind of look like this, and I'll make sure I have these kind of like escape plans, and, depending on where they're at, you can't have, but then like with my mom, I use those same tools and seeing so much growth in her and our relationship. And so now she's a safe person. This family member's not. So either way, going through the process of healing and figuring out your own needs and what you need as a person and as a family and a mom, you're able to apply them regardless, however, how other people respond.
When I was in a group, the gals and I did one of the exercises in the book where like they stand in as my parents and I get to share.
I think the proxy.
Yeah.
Proxy. Thank you. I knew you would know, Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
I know everything.
I know. I'm like, it's been a while and I can't think of this word. But yeah, we did the proxy, and I didn't do that with every group. The ladies didn't want to, and I was like,
yeah,
okay,
because it's kind of an
whatever.
optional.
Like, yeah, but this group was like, oh, we are doing it, and I was like, oh gosh,
so outside of my comfort zone.
This is the best group ever. But it was so great because I don't know that I'm ever going to be able to talk to my parents and feel heard and understood and have them say that they're sorry, or like to have that reconciliation and forgiveness, which
Right.
I am so wanting, because I feel like that's what the Bible asks us to do. And so that was like super healing for me. Like I almost feel like it happened for real, even though it was like a stand-in. And I know you can do that. Like one of the gals, dads had passed away and she needed to, reconcile some things. And it was like really, really good. That's one of my favorite tools now.
It is.
That is so great.
I was just going to say, we did stuff like that in the grief release class too that I took. And I think some people need that. Like if you have a relationship that's not going to heal, even if it's your spouse, you may need Betrayal and Beyond and to put some weeks into like a grief release.
Yeah.
Because it's a loss.
Yeah.
It's a loss you want, but you also don't have control over.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is a really good tool. And I think that that's just telling about the power of healing, is that the healthier that we get, I think the more we recognize unhealthy relationships, and that possibility that those other people, they might not ever be to a place where they want that kind of healing, but that still means that I need healing for myself. And that might mean that I lose that relationship.
Yeah.
Which is a hard reality.
It is really hard.
Yeah. Thank you for that. That's so good, because I've seen that healing, when we get healing, like Heather said, it goes downward to our kids and upward to our parents. And it has the ability to really break those generational curses, but sometimes not, because we can only control